What is up, guys? It is Bizarre Killer here, coming at you with a new video today. Obviously, you know by the title, is about Dragon Ball. In the first half of this video, I do show some YouTubers stating some negative opinions about Dragon Ball. So if you are a fan of their content, please don't take it as if I'm trying to be negative or say that they are not entitled to their own opinions. And if you are someone who's a huge fan of Dragon Ball, please don't take this as a way to send hate their way or negativity. And if you are someone who's checking out this video and you do not like Dragon Ball, that is completely fine as well. All I ask is that you watch the video all the way through the end and tell me whether you agree or whether you disagree. With the first disclaimer out of the way, let's dive into the video.
Dragon Ball is the worst long-running shonen ever.
I would put Dragon Ball Z at an S tier.
What? If he's just generalizing and he's talking about like Dragon Ball as a whole series, I can see why people like it so much because people grew up with it, right? The only thing I can say good about it is not even the fight scenes are that pog. There's just not much like build up or character, right? It's just Goku's trying to get stronger. He gets his ass whooped, comes back and beats the guy and say, yeah, I saved the world. And death doesn't mean jack shit in this anime. It's just poorly written. I don't know. The show's too scared to kill anybody, even if they're like sideline characters or spectator characters.
I mean, what I think about Dragon Ball, like Dragon Ball Z obviously was a massive part of my childhood, but it's a bit mid, right?
Here's what I'll say. The single most overrated thing of all time, Dragon Ball Z. Single most overrated thing of all time. No doubt.
Broly, look! Niggas be wildin'!
So, Dragon Ball. Loved by many and definitely hated by many as well. One of the most iconic and polarizing anime and mangas of all time, but not just in anime and manga, in entertainment and the realms of fiction as well. From its inspirations, to its amazing amount of longevity, to its exceeding amount of popularity, has gained an amazing amount of praise, but also a fair amount and even unfair amount of criticism. So today's video is about why I think Dragon Ball is overhated, and definitely misunderstood and misrepresented. Obviously, quick disclaimer as usual, Dragon Ball is my favorite series of all time, as well as I do think it is the greatest anime franchise of all time. I'm fully aware that it is not for everybody and that it is not perfect. I'm also aware that others have other series and stories that they prefer over Dragon Ball. But just like every other anime, manga, or story, or every other form of entertainment, it has its own flaws. I would even state some of those flaws as well to make sure people understand that I'm not trying to be biased and or sound like a stand or an elitist. So let's talk about why I think Dragon Ball is heavily misunderstood and is definitely overhated now. Now, one of the biggest labels that I see from anime and manga fans is that Dragon Ball fans are blinded by nostalgia. Now, to definitely be fair, that is fairly true. There are a lot of Dragon Ball fans that watched it when they were kids and still love it to this day, even some definitely older than me. My first real interaction with Dragon Ball as a series was my older brother. He pretty much had everything from action figures to posters, and before there was social media around and Kiss Anime, he had videotapes, as well as of course the video games. I really do understand now why people be saying that Dragon Ball fans are fairly nostalgic, because it really is a fun trip. But the main criticism here is nostalgia. Saying that a series can't be good or great or even in my opinion a masterpiece because you watched it when you were a kid is kind of ridiculous. Because even though I'm about to bring up certain examples, I understand that these are targeted by a different audience, because it is truly to bring out the criticism and the point about nostalgia. So for my examples, I'm guessing Hajime no Ippo, Vagabond, Berserk, One Piece, Hunter x Hunter, Yu Yu Hakusho, and even Sailor Moon cannot be considered great series because fans are blinded by the nostalgia. Even though that they are targeted to a more younger audience, there are things that you can still learn as an adult to this day, such as the certain essence of individuality and growth. Be stronger than what you were tomorrow. Be better than what you were tomorrow, not just from a physical standpoint, but from an individuality standpoint and from a mental standpoint, which is something nostalgia just doesn't always teach you. So since the main people that are saying this are possibly new gen anime fans, trust and believe that they will say the same exact thing about your anime as well. They'll say it for Haikyuu, My Hero Academia, One Punch Man, Jujutsu Kaisen, Mob Psycho, and so many more. But moving on to the next criticism, which is Dragon Ball is action with no plot. Now when I hear this take, I'm very much understanding and I can very much feel conflicted at the same time. Because to be fair, it makes sense why others do think this way. Since the action is definitely the main focus within Dragon Ball, people don't really see the other parts within Dragon Ball that led up to the fight, or is definitely in the middle parts as well. For a great example of this is the slice of life moments. One of the most overlooked parts in Dragon Ball happened in Dragon Ball Super, when future Trunks meets adult Gohan. Out of everyone in the main cast, Trunks and Gohan have one of the most unique friendships out of everybody. Trunks himself out of everyone has seen 3 different sides to Gohan, seeing him first as a warrior who has trained and mentored him, then a younger Gohan who hasn't even reached his full potential, then lastly the adult version of Gohan, a Gohan who has attained peace, and not just getting a normal job and being a teacher, but he's now a husband and even now a father. Even though it's a hard reality for Trunks to grasp, it's always what Gohan wanted. He now sees his mentor out of stress and worry, and now in a time where he's happy and content with his life. Now, I am definitely aware that that was just only one example. There are definitely a lot more though that do tackle a lot of slice of life elements and moments within the Dragon Ball universe. But the main criteria is about action with no plot. It's pretty much like saying Tokyo Ghoul is about ghouls with no other story. Slam Dunk is just about basketball with no other story. JoJo's is just about a bizarre adventure with no other story. Even some seinen and isekai genres can hop into that conversation as well. What I am genuinely saying is that everything can be oversimplified and generalized. Since the action is definitely the main focus of Dragon Ball, that does not mean other factors did not play a role into getting it to where it was. But on to the next criticisms. Now these 2 next ones that I'm going to bring up, I'm gonna jumble together because they pretty much cover the same topic. And these 2 are pretty much the main popular ones that a lot of people tend to say a lot. And the first one is that Dragon Ball has little to no character development. And the second one being that Dragon Ball has a lack of an emotional connection to people. To get this out of the way first, I'm going to start off with the second criticism. As I stated before throughout the video, is I totally understand where people are coming from. Since throughout time, we have seen a lot of mangakas show a lot of attention to detail and expression throughout their characters and their stories. As I restate this, it does make sense why others prefer other stories like My Hero Academia, Naruto, Black Clover, or just Slice of Life or other light novels. It shows a lot of detail and expression in the amount of specification to the struggle that show it for not just the main character but the story and as well as the supporting cast. That really is a callback to their themes of what the story is meant to be about. It's why a lot of people feel like these stories are a lot more relatable because it deals with more basis in reality. And these themes can definitely be found and shown within Dragon Ball. One of the most underrated speeches in anime is from Vegeta about Saiyan pride. It will take more than head games to stop me.
You may have invaded my mind and my body, but there's one thing a Saiyan always keeps.
And that is
His pride!
what this scene truly shows and signifies throughout Dragon Ball is that no matter what you are dealing with mentally or physically, upholding who you are as a person and your beliefs is what matters at the end of the day. So no matter the situations that you are in life, you always need to uphold your dignity of yourself. But this speaks more into the other criticism about character development, stating that Dragon Ball characters don't seem to change or learn from their mistakes, because the real notion of character development now is the meaning that every character has to change their personality or their outlooks on their goals. Meaning, if a character remains the same, that means that that character hasn't undergone any form of development, which is most definitely not true. For a great example, as always, I stated this in my well-written versus well-developed video. 3 days, no, 2 years, from the Straw Hat Pirates from One Piece. I stated in the video that yes, you can say that they did not change their personality, but that does not mean that the Straw Hat Pirates we've seen from Romance Dawn is the same from what we see now in Wano. From their inexperience, now we see a lot more tact, awareness, and carefulness in their planning. And you can exactly say this for Goku. Yes, he still has the same naiveness and childlike personality that he's had ever since the first beginning of Dragon Ball, but that doesn't mean that he was the same kid that he was from the beginning. Character development can work in a very vast amount of ways. If you were to ask me, Goku's character development is him learning much more about himself and reflecting on his own growth to accomplish his own dreams. As totally not Mark stated in the Goku Misunderstood video, which I highly recommend you check out, is that Goku is Dragon Ball. He is the truth of this series. He changes the world and cast around him just as much as he is learning about himself. But it is fair to say that his development just may not be for you. There are a lot of characters who show passion and remorse for the decisions they have to make. However, Goku, on the other hand, he does it quite frequently, but to a point where others just do not understand. In some situations, he only looks for the benefit of himself to get stronger, but that does not mean that he hasn't looked at the issues and problems that he has caused and tried to fix them. In this instance, after his fight with Frieza, Frieza begs Goku to try to help him save his life. Reluctant as Goku was, he spares a little bit of his energy to him. In his mistake in doing so, he ends up trying to attack and kill Goku, which obviously did not work. And I know this question is coming up: why did Goku throw Cell the Senzu Bean? As we all know, this was a big mistake by Goku, but not in the way that you're thinking it is. On the surface, it blatantly looks stupid, but when we look into the scene, it was to actually help Gohan surpass his potential, because Goku mistakenly believes that Gohan wanted to be a strong fighter just like him and Vegeta, but Piccolo then tells him that that is not who Gohan is. He does not want to get stronger for his own purposes. He'd rather just use his power to protect the ones he loves, and it is also because Goku does not like to cheat his way around a fight, and his journey to become the strongest warrior in the universe. And as others stated, that this kind of naiveness in his journey is dangerous. Once Goku realizes his mistake and Gohan finally reaches his full potential against Cell, then Goku tells him to immediately defeat him, as Goku realizes his own flaw and arrogance to how he treated Frieza. But by Gohan's new arrogance, it ends up brushing off Goku's warning. Goku, realizing his mistake, ends up sacrificing himself for the betterment of everyone else, and in the moment they were about to wish him back with the Dragon Balls, Goku tells them to not wish him back. He believes that his being there endangers the lives of others around him, and in doing so creates an essence of peace. And going on the last point I'm going to make about Goku's character development, I think one of the most overlooked things about Goku is his backstory. The fact that his father leads the charge against Frieza, only leading to his entire race being destroyed, then have to succumb to a new life and a new journey on another planet, only then to fall and suffer brain damage, and possibly truly forgetting the last sight of his parents and his Saiyan heritage, only then to be having the man that saved him die by his own powers, and everyone who knew what the truth was never even told him. Then when it comes down to people of his own race meeting him for the first time, they end up trying to kill him and destroy his home, to his confrontation and sacrifice against his own brother Raditz, to his all-out battle with Vegeta, he reluctantly denied that he was a Saiyan. But throughout his countless fights and battles, he starts to realize much more that he is very much different from everybody else. To sum this all up, I'm not saying that Goku's backstory is as sad as Naruto's, Luffy's, or Guts, or say that it's the saddest thing in the world, but it's pretty sad in its own way. Even though Goku's backstory affects him indirectly from others like Vegeta, who faces it directly, I believe it was shown to us, the audience, for specific reasons. But moving on to the next criticisms that most people like to say is that Dragon Ball supporting characters are pretty much irrelevant. Most people I've heard say that the supporting cast does not really hold any relevance or does not have any moments like Vegeta and Goku. To those that say this complaint, as I always have said throughout this video, I understand. But I think some people really miss the point about Dragon Ball, which is the main theme about pursuing happiness. Outside of the Saiyan cast, not everybody who is an Earthling or a different race wants to truly be the strongest in the universe, or go on a journey to face any of the strongest fighters ever. Most of them, like Gohan, are just protectors of the Earth. Obviously, time for more examples. Bulma creating a time machine ineligible for Trunks to come back to the past to change the future, Yajirobe cutting off Vegeta's tail, Korin makes senzu beans, and the next example here is a spoiler from the Dragon Ball Super manga. So if you don't want to hear about it, I recommend you go to this timestamp, and if you're sticking around, well, time to explain it. At this moment, invaders and henchmen under the main antagonist named Moro. They have come to Earth to steal its energy so that Moro can become more powerful, and at this time, Goku and Vegeta are nowhere to be found. So it's pretty much up to Gohan, Piccolo, Yamcha, Tien, Master Roshi, Krillin, and even the androids. As cheesy as a line is to say, it's to help save their world. But I get it, most people are saying that they want the supporting cast to just win a fight on their own, where it doesn't always involve Goku and Vegeta. Instead, just have them win their own fights for their own purposes, merits, and reasons, cause in doing so, it would kinda defeat the purpose within Dragon Ball. As for how the story is, Goku is truth. The Z fighters that you see now have been changed in part by Goku. If they were to win battles on their own, it would feel like the impact that Goku has left upon them would very much get overlooked. To a certain extent, I would say. My last point on this is I'm not trying to get into a power scaling debate, but these guys are Earthlings compared to born trained fighting warriors. Fighting is basically in their blood and genetics. Not to say that they all did not learn how to fight to get stronger, but each has a different merit to its own. Now, on to the last criticism about Dragon Ball, and this is the main one, that the Dragon Balls have no relevancy at all within the story of Dragon Ball.
Like, let's just gather all the fucking dragon genitals and just fucking offer it up to fucking Shinron, and boom, we res Krillin back to life for like the 10th time.
And all it is used as a tool to bring everyone back from the dead. Obviously not true, there's certain limitations and things that you can do besides just wishing people back to life. And certain characters cannot come back to life because of the Dragon Balls, such as Grandpa Gohan, Future Gohan, Bardock, the Sand Race in their own universe, and most of the Namekians. And I should also specify that not every dragon is the same or has the same rules. And I believe most people overlook the fact that you cannot wish for everything with the Dragon Balls, as well as the limitations that are granted with the Dragon Balls, and the interesting things that you can learn and do with them. The fact that they learned through the Dragon Balls what the Super Saiyan God power was, and how a god could be formed, as well as Krillin removing 17 and 18's bombs, and oh, can't forget lastly, even some Zinni. So these are mostly the main criticisms I see a lot when people critique Dragon Ball, and I know that there is a lot more that people do say, and there's pretty much more I could go into, but I think this is fairly enough. Depending on the response and how this video goes, I can make a part 2. Just to make things clear and wrap this up again, I am fully aware that Dragon Ball is not for everybody and that it is not perfect. It has its own flaws, criticisms, issues, just as much as any other anime and manga. My main problem is people just hopping on the trend and citing things that their favorite anime does a little bit better, or stating some invalid reasons to why they just don't think that it's good. If you are a fan of Dragon Ball and you know some people out there that don't like it or very much misunderstood and missing context, please show them this video. If you're not a Dragon Ball fan and you checked out this video, please tell me below if I was eligible to change your mind or not. Or if you are just an anime or manga fan just checking out this video, please like, share, and comment below yourself. And if you like more content like this, please think about subscribing to the channel and follow me on other social media links. With that being said, as always, I'll see you around.